Hello and welcome to Floristry Market. My name is Greg and this is
Emma
from
Lily and B.
But today, as you can see, she is Floristry Market because you've got an apron on.
Yeah, I love these aprons because I like the pocket because then you can keep your phone in there, keep my order in there.
Right, so you've talked about an apron.
Yeah.
What you put in it. Now, what else, Emma, might you need as a florist?
Right, so we're going to look at things that you need as a florist in your toolbox, and then specifically I've got some extra things that if I'm going out to do like an event or a wedding or something like that, that I'd add into my toolbox to take with me.
Okay.
Or why I use them.
Okay, now that is not your toolbox. We've got to point that out.
No, I've got, I think mine's just like a B&Q one. You want, different people have different sizes. Mine's about that sort of size with a handle, click shut. But I've seen people come in with like the great big, trolley ones that they pull behind them. It just depends what you're doing, how big the event is, how much stuff you need. But I've got one about that big that's in the van all the time.
And that's just your day-to-day stuff that's got everything in it.
Yeah, so like if I'm out and about and I'm doing an event and I need something, I know it's in there.
So today you're going to go through what your essentials are and what you keep in there.
Yeah, what I keep in there.
Okay, let's do it.
So first things first is your scissors.
Scissors.
I don't go anywhere without my scissors. So I've got scissors everywhere, in my toolbox, in my every single handbag that I own, in every vehicle that I own, every coat.
Have you ever gone through an airport and you've forgotten about them?
No, because I do take my beach bag, but I have gone like into other places, like, and then I've gone through my bag and then I'm like, oh, scissors, knife, you know. But yeah, everyone has their own different preference to scissors. You've got a few different types. But yeah, always your scissors, because you're obviously going to be snipping, doing things like that. So scissors are a must. I've always got some sort of tie, because if I'm out and about at an event, obviously it's always in your toolbox in the studio because you're making hand ties, things like that. But if I'm specifically going to an event, you know, you might need to, what can I think of? Like a pew end. So you might be in a church and you need to tie something onto the pew ends or tie things together, things like that. So I've always got the tie with me. I like this one because it's really nice and strong.
Well, what's the difference in this one and the one you've got in there as well?
This one's nice because this one's got wire inside it. So if you do that one, that's quite like a poly twine.
Yeah.
This one's got wire in it.
Okay.
So this one's really good if you want things really tight, because you can then
just
really
like you do with a cable tie.
So it depends on what I'm doing and where I am, but also, they're both really good, two slightly different things. This one I use more if I'm doing like hand ties and things like that. And then sometimes you might have to whip something up on site. So for instance, I've gone to deliver a wedding before and the bride has said, oh, I meant to ask you if you could make me something to throw.
Okay.
So you never know. Yeah. And this one's more if you're attaching something and you want to.
I see. Okay.
But if we're talking about attaching things, the other thing that I would not be without are cable ties.
Yeah.
So they are so good for like zipping things if you're doing things to poles or you're doing something maybe with chicken wire and you want to attach. And then if your pole or whatever is bigger, then you can obviously do put two together.
Whoever invented those, absolute genius.
Yeah. Done it the wrong way around, but yeah.
So,
but yeah,
so many different uses.
We use those for loads, so they're really good. So I've always got cable ties. I've always got some tape and some wires, and that is specifically for, again, if I'm going to an event, particularly a wedding, and you arrive and you've got your delivery and you've unpacked everything and everybody's really happy, and then all of a sudden someone says, oh no, we've forgotten like granddad or something like that, and they haven't got a buttonhole. Okay. So you can like whip something up quickly. Or maybe sometimes you get there and they're having the hair done and they're like, oh, I wanted some gypsophilia for my hair or something like that. Yeah. And you need to make a quick little last minute thing. So I've always got some really thin wires for delicate work, some thicker wires if I needed to wire something in place. Yeah. And then I've always got my florist tape.
So they're two different types of wire?
Yeah, that one's slightly thicker. Okay. You've got your rose wire and your thicker one. And then this is the paper crepe tape. Yep. But you also sell the parafilm one as well. Okay. So if people are looking on the website, it just depends on which one people like to work with. Yeah. That one's sticky. You've got the really stretchy one. Yeah. So you've got a couple of those.
And what do you use that for?
For if you were doing a buttonhole or
same sort of thing.
They both do the same job.
I remember you doing it when we made a buttonhole. And everything
so these are all things that I have just in case.
Okay.
Then I've always got some pot tape in case I need to. So quite often you might make something in a container and then you've got to secure it when you get there. So it might be that the venue's got big urns, or I'm securing something to a staircase or something like that. So I'd use my pot tape for that. So again, these are all things that you will have in your toolbox or in your studio or in your florist. But it's always handy, I find, to have a toolbox that specifically goes to events. So that it's packed up all the time. You either keep it in the van if that's secure, or you keep it, you know, where you keep your keys or whatever. So you're picking up the floristry order and then you've got that toolbox that's going to go. So they are floristry essentials, but they're toolbox essentials. I've got some secateurs in case I'm somewhere and I need a little bit of extra foliage, or I'm driving past something and just do So I've always got those. These are really good, these Oasis ones. I've got pins in case I've made said buttonhole, or sometimes you might get there and they want foliage pinned onto the tablecloth or something like that, and you can't attach things. You can't always, how you think something's going to play out doesn't always. So it's also quite nice if, you know, that you are the sort of thing where another vendor might say to you, oh, have you got a pin, or have you got some wire? Like there's been times when I've helped out cake people, you know, when they've needed to wire some fresh flowers and things like that. So it's quite nice if you can help other people.
So a lot of these things are just in case. And I guess as a florist, you go to a venue, things can happen, things can go wrong, things can change.
Yeah, most of them are just in case. And then they're things that, you know, I've had lots of those scenario things that have happened, or you get there and you might not have done a site visit because it's further, and the wedding coordinator or the couple have told you that such and such is in place, and then when you get there it isn't, so you have to quickly
Have you got an example you can give?
We've had times where people have told us that we've had to attach things to the ceiling and stuff, and they've said, oh, there's something hanging, like a rod that you can attach it to, and there isn't. So then we've had to like go to the nearest B&Q and like buy a broom handle and then like fashion things with like this sort of thing hanging and things like that. So yeah, it does happen, not very often, and especially not now. These are more things that would happen back in the day, but I think now lots of venues have wedding coordinators and people are a lot more on it. But yeah, we thought there was like going to be a rod hanging and there wasn't. So yeah, things like that. So you just want to have all of these things. If I left without anything, it would be the cable ties. They are like the jack of all trades.
So
I've got those. I've got some cold glue in case, I don't know, again, I had some, you know, like the pocket squares, and someone wanted a last minute one or something like that. So I've always got the cold glue. I've got a water spritzer. So that obviously everything, particularly like bridal bouquets, everything's very well hydrated before you leave the studio and you check it. But obviously sometimes we have to travel like a couple of hours. So when you get there, particularly if it's really hot weather, you just want to make sure that everything's really hydrated before you hand it over. And while so you always want like a water spritzer, maybe a watering can, something like that. And then I've always got my knife, again, just because it's a bit of a safety thing. And if I'm making something, I don't mean like a safety thing, I mean like safety blanket thing. I always like to have my knife. And then I've got a bin liner. So you'd be like, we make so much mess. So I've always got a bin liner. So I've always got a bin liner. I've also always got like a spare bucket in case I just want to scoop things in quickly. Or sometimes if you're doing like a marquee, you might be miles away from where the water is, particularly if it's in somebody's house. So a lot of people, if they're going to have a marquee or a teepee, they might have hired a field or something like that, and there's not always water. Just like if you go to a hotel, you can just go and fill your vase up in, you know, the kitchen, but that's not always the case. So quite often you'll be traipsing through a field to fill your bucket up. So I've always got a bucket.
Oh, did you hear about the man that went to the doctor?
No.
And he said, doctor, sometimes I think I'm a marquee, sometimes I think I'm a teepee. And the doctor said, I know what's wrong with you. You're too tense. Thank you very much. Sorry, Mike.
That was so bad, but funny.
It wasn't that bad. You're laughing. You're laughing. Okay.
Right, okay. Right. So I've always got a bucket to fill up with water. And then a few things. These are a few like random things that I have in my toolbox.
Okay, what about that? What's that?
Oh, that's Oasis Fix, sorry.
Okay.
And again, that is if you want to, like, you know, you've got to fix maybe a container into, so say I've got like a plastic container that's mine and I'm putting it into like a stone or terracotta at the venue.
Okay.
Just want to stick that down. So you've got Oasis Fix, or there's lots of uses for it, but that. And then I've got a few other things that over the years I now always have in my toolbox. So one is your business card.
Okay.
So if you are out at an event or a wedding or something like that, there's potential customers, clients everywhere.
Yeah.
So the amount of times like the wedding coordinator or the event host will say, oh, have you got a card? Because they like what you've done. Or quite often, particularly in hotels and things like that, when you're setting up on the Saturday morning, they generally might be showing around potential couples and they like to show it set.
Yeah.
So again, I wouldn't just randomly give it, but if somebody asks me, it's always like in my toolbox.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Or if I've parked somewhere, you know, I just stick it in the windscreen so people know where you are.
Yeah.
So I've always got a business card. I've always got change in case I need to park somewhere or I need to buy something. But it's just one of those things. If you have, I know we've all got Apple Pay now, but like parking can, and again, sometimes you can be like in the middle of nowhere and you need to park. So I've always got some change. I've always got some headache tablets. Okay. That's normally for when it's finished. But when you're driving back, particularly if you're driving back, it's quite a long journey and it's been like a stressful morning and you've forgotten to eat and you haven't drunk enough. So I've always got headache tablets. I've always got some sort of snack. Yep. They're quite healthy snacks, actually. Normally mine would be a lot less healthy than normally
Speaking
chocolate
of
bar.
Not healthy snacks, have you tried the new Yorkie bars yet?
No, I love a Yorkie.
They've got brownie in it. It's sort of an aqua coloured wrapper, but it's got brownie in it.
But with the normal Yorkie chocolate?
Yeah. It's really exciting.
No, now I'm going to have to go and get one. And then drink.
Okay. Very nice.
So they are, as I say, lots of those are essential things. They're things that you're going to have in your workshop anyway.
Yeah.
But it can be a faff, particularly if it's maybe like you haven't done a lot of weddings and you're not sure what to take, it's good to pack everything beforehand.
Yeah.
And it's good. I like just to have two because quite often we're doing lots of weddings and events through the summer season. So to have to keep unpacking it, putting it back in the studio and then packing it again, it's better to just have two sets. Okay. You know, and you do some really good kits.
Yeah, we've got
most
kits.
of those in them.
Yeah.
So then you can just add I'm not sure if cable ties and stuff are in there, but then you can just add your extra bits, your snacks, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, the one thing I would say don't leave without is a business card.
Okay. If there's anything else that you have in your kits that would be useful for people to know, leave your comments down below on Facebook and on YouTube. Emma, thank you so much. That was great. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you've not, please do hit the bell icon and subscribe, and you'll get notified every time we upload another one of these. Anyway, stay happy and positive. From myself and Emma, see you next time.
Bye.